The curtain between us hospital beds smelled like disinfectant and someone else's fear. Claire Morrison lay there, 8 months pregnant, sharing a room with a homeless woman, while her millionaire husband had rented an entire hotel floor. $47,000 a month for his mistress. When Claire called that private line, a young woman's voice answered, breathless, laughing. Blake, honey, come back to bed. But that phone call? That was just the beginning, because what Claire discovered next would destroy everything she thought she knew about her marriage, about her husband, about the last 6 years of her life, the shared hospital bed, the canceled insurance, the offshore accounts, the lies that went deeper than she ever imagined. And the moment she realized she had a choice, stay small and safe, or fight back and risk everything. This is the story of how a pregnant woman in a shared hospital room took down a millionaire, how she found strength she didn't know she had, and how sometimes losing everything is the only way to find yourself. Stay with me, because what happens next, you won't believe it. The curtain between the beds smelled like disinfectant and someone else's fear. Claire Morrison lay on her side, 8 months pregnant, staring at the faded blue fabric that separated her from the woman in the next bed. The fabric was thin enough that she could see shadows moving, here breathing, here crying. County General Hospital, shared maternity ward, room 217. This was not how she imagined spending the final weeks of her pregnancy. The fluorescent lights overhead buzzed and flickered. On, off, on. The sound drilled into her skull. Her feet hung off the edge of the too-short bed. Swollen ankles, swollen everything. The IV in her left hand dripped slowly, magnesium sulfate, for the preeclampsia, for the dangerously high blood pressure that had landed her here 3 days ago. 3 days of calling Blake. 3 days of voicemails. 3 days of excuses. The woman behind the curtain cried out, a low animal sound of pain. Claire closed her eyes, tried to block it out, failed. Mija, you okay over there? The voice was rough, accented, kind. I'm fine, Claire said. Her voice came out smaller than she intended. You don't sound fine. Claire didn't respond. What could she say? That she was 32 years old, married to a millionaire and sharing a hospital room with a stranger because her insurance was the bare minimum? That her husband was too busy for her calls? That she was terrified? The curtain rustled. A face appeared. Brown eyes, dark hair pulled back, maybe 40, maybe older, hard to tell with the exhaustion written across her features. I'm Maria, the woman said. Claire. Nice to meet you, Claire. Sorry about the noise. Contractions are getting worse. How far along are you? 37 weeks. You? 34. Claire shifted on the bed. Everything hurt. Her back, her hips, her heart. They're trying to control my blood pressure. If they can't, they'll deliver early. Maria nodded, understood. Your husband coming? Claire's throat tightened. He's at a business dinner. The look Maria gave her said everything. That look that women share when they know, when they recognize the lie underneath the words. My baby's father isn't here either, Maria said softly. Left 2 years ago. Haven't seen him since. I'm sorry. Don't be. I'm better off. Maria smiled, meant and true. You will be too, eventually. Before Claire could respond, Maria disappeared back behind the curtain. Another contraction, another cry. Claire picked up her phone. 5 missed calls, all from Naomi, her best friend. None from Blake. She dialed his number, again, straight to voicemail, again. Hey, it's me, again. I really need you to call me back. The doctor says they might have to deliver early if my blood pressure doesn't stabilize. I'm scared, Blake. Please call me. She hung up, stared at the phone, willed it to ring. It didn't. Instead, a notification popped up. Instagram, someone had tagged Blake Morrison in a post. The Grand Meridian Hotel, downtown, 30 minutes away. Claire's finger hovered over the notification. She shouldn't look. Looking meant not trusting. Looking meant being the paranoid wife, the jealous wife, the crazy wife. She looked. The photo showed the hotel's grand lobby. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, a fountain in the center that costs more than most people's houses. The caption, Best stay ever at the Grand Meridian. Thank you to Blake Morrison for the incredible hospitality. Blake wasn't in the photo, just the lobby, just a suggestion of luxury. But he wasn't at a restaurant. He was at a hotel. Claire's heart hammered. The blood pressure monitor on her finger beeped. The nurse would come soon, tell her to calm down, tell her stress was bad for the baby, tell her to breathe. She couldn't breathe. Her fingers moved before her brain caught up. Opened the browser. Searched. The Grand Meridian Hotel contact number. The phone rang twice. A smooth, professional voice answered. The Grand Meridian Hotel, how may I assist you this evening? Hi, I'm trying to reach my husband, Blake Morrison. I believe he's a guest there? A pause, keys clicking. Yes, Mr. Morrison is a guest with us. Would you like me to connect you to his room? Claire's vision blurred. Guest, not attending a dinner, a guest. Actually, she said, voice shaking, can you tell me what room he's in? I'm not able to give out room numbers, ma'am, but Mr. Morrison has rented the entire 7th floor for the month. Would you like me to transfer you to the private line? The phone slipped from her hand, clattered against the bed rail, bounced, hit the floor, the entire 7th floor, for the month. Claire bent down, slowly, carefully. Everything in her body protested the movement. She retrieved the phone. The call had disconnected. She did what she always did when her world tilted. Counted to 10, breathed, told herself there was an explanation. There had to be an explanation. Blake wouldn't. He couldn't. They were having a baby, their first baby. They'd been married 6 years, 6 good years, hadn't they? Her hands shook as she called the hotel back. Same smooth voice. The Grand Meridian Hotel, how may I assist you? I just called about Blake Morrison. Can you transfer me to that private line? The 7th floor? Of course. One moment, please. Music. Classical. Soft. The kind of music that costs money to license. 1 ring, 2 rings, 3. A woman's voice answered. Young, breathless, laughing. Blake, honey, come back to bed. You've been on your laptop for an hour. Claire's finger hit the end call button. The phone fell from her hand again. The blood pressure monitor screamed. Dr. Helen Rutherford appeared within minutes. 50-something. Silver hair pulled into a tight bun. Eyes that had seen everything and believed nothing. Claire, your pressure is 165/100. That's too high. Dr. Rutherford adjusted the IV, checked the monitors, pressed 2 fingers to Claire's wrist. Counted pulse. What happened? Nothing. Your body says otherwise. I'm fine. Rutherford pulled up the chair, sat down, made direct eye contact. I've been an obstetrician for 27 years. I can tell when a patient is lying. What happened? Claire's eyes burned. Don't cry. Don't be that woman. Don't be weak. My husband, she whispered. He's not at a business dinner. Mark Rutherford's expression didn't change. Didn't show surprise or judgment, just understanding, sentiment, tired understanding. Where is he? At a hotel with someone else. I heard her voice. The doctor's jaw tightened. I see. He rented the entire 7th floor for a month. I'm here in a shared room and he rented an entire floor. The words hung in the air, heavy, true, undeniable. Dr. Rutherford stood, walked to the small window overlooking the parking lot. Orange streetlights cast shadows across her face. Claire, I need you to listen to me very carefully. Your blood pressure is dangerously high. If it goes higher, you could have a seizure. Your baby could be in distress. We might have to deliver tonight. I understand. Do you? Because right now your body is in crisis, and I need to know if your support system is real or if I need to call someone else. Family, friends, anyone who can actually be here for you. Claire's phone buzzed. She grabbed it. Hope flared. Maybe Blake. Maybe an explanation. A text from Naomi. Girl, where are you? You're not answering. Getting worried. Not Blake. Never Blake. I have a friend, Claire said. Naomi. She'll come. Call her, now. De Rutherford moved toward the door, paused, turned back. And Claire? Document everything. The hotel, the phone call, everything. You're going to need it. After the doctor left, Claire sat in the dark. The only light came from the monitors. Green glowing numbers, heartbeats, oxygen levels. Blood pressure slowly decreasing as the medication worked. Maria's voice drifted through the curtain. Mija, you still awake? Yes. I heard. I'm sorry. It's okay. No, it's not. Maria's silhouette shifted behind the curtain. But you know what? You're stronger than you think. I can tell. You got that strength that doesn't show until you need it. And you're gonna need it. Claire didn't feel strong. She felt broken, shattered, like every piece of her carefully constructed life was falling apart, and she was too pregnant and too tired to catch any of it. But she opened her phone, texted Naomi. I need you. County General, room 217, please come. The response came immediately. On my way. Claire opened her laptop. The one she'd brought for distraction, for watching shows during the long hospital hours. Instead, she opened their bank account, the joint account, the one Blake managed because he was better with money, the one she never checked because she trusted him. She trusted him. Past tense now. The account loaded. She scrolled through transactions. 3 months of history, line by line, charge by charge. The Grand Meridian Hotel, $47,000. 1 month. Tiffany and Company, $18,000. Nobu Malibu, $3,000. Bergdorf Goodman, $8,000. On and on. Page after page. Luxury after luxury. Expense after expense. And then, at the bottom of the most recent page, County General Hospital parking, $12. Her parking, her only charge on their joint account this month, $12. Claire closed the laptop, lay back on the uncomfortable bed, stared at the buzzing fluorescent lights, counted the flickers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Her hand rested on her belly. The baby kicked. Strong, insistent, alive. I'm sorry, she whispered. To her son, to herself, to whoever was listening. I'm so sorry you're going to be born into this mess. But I promise you something right now. I will figure this out. I will protect you. Even if I don't know how yet. The baby kicked again, like he heard, like he understood. Maria's voice came through the curtain one more time, softer now, gentler. You're going to be okay, Claire. I don't know you, but I know that. You're going to be okay. Claire didn't believe her, but she wanted to. Naomi Brennan arrived at 4:30 in the morning, still wearing her courtroom suit from the previous day, navy blue, perfectly tailored, immigration lawyer, partner at her firm by 33. She'd driven straight from her office where she'd been prepping for a deportation hearing. She took one look at Claire's face and said, "What did he do?" Not, "What's wrong?" Not, "Are you okay?" Just straight to the truth. That was Naomi. Always had been. They'd met in college. Roommates freshman year. Best friends ever since. Naomi had been Claire's maid of honor. Had given a beautiful toast about love and partnership and forever. Had pulled Claire aside at the reception and whispered, "If he ever hurts you, call me. Anytime. Day or night." Claire had laughed, said, "He won't." Now sitting in a shared hospital room at County General, Claire wished she'd listened to whatever Naomi had seen that day. "He's cheating on me," Claire said. No preamble, no build-up, just fact. Naomi pulled the privacy curtain around Claire's bed. Maria was finally sleeping, soft snores from the other side. The woman had been in labor for 18 hours. The doctor said it would be soon. First babies took time. "How do you know?" Naomi asked. Claire handed her the phone. "Call the hotel, ask for Blake Morrison's room." Naomi dialed, waited. Her face remained neutral as she spoke. "Yes, I'm calling for Blake Morrison. Can you connect me to his room?" Pause. "The entire 7th floor. I see. No, that's fine. Thank you." She hung up, set the phone down carefully, deliberately. The entire 7th floor. For $47,000, 1 month. Jesus Christ. I called the private line. A woman answered. Told him to come back to bed. Naomi's jaw clenched. That lawyer face, the one she used in court when opposing counsel said something particularly stupid. Show me the bank statements. Claire opened the laptop, pulled up 3 months of history. Naomi leaned in. Her eyes scanned the numbers. Professional, clinical, looking for patterns, looking for proof. Tiffany and Company, 18,000. Naomi pointed. Did he buy you anything? No. Bergdorf, 8,000. You? No. Nobu Malibu, multiple charges. Did you go? I haven't been to a restaurant in 3 months. Morning sickness, then bed rest. Naomi scrolled down, stopped. Claire, look at this. A charge from 3 months ago. Beverly Hills Hotel, weekend stay, $8,000. I was visiting my mother that weekend, Claire said. The memory came back sharp and clear. She had that scare with her heart. I flew to Phoenix, stayed 4 days. He told you he was working. He had a conference, tech startup symposium. There was no conference, Naomi's finger traced down the screen. Look, same weekend, Mastro's Steakhouse. Dinner for two, $500. Chateau Marmont. Drinks, $300. This wasn't business. Claire, this was a romantic weekend. The room spun. Claire gripped the bed rail. The blood pressure monitor beeped. Warning, danger. Calm down. She couldn't calm down. How long, Claire whispered. How long has this been happening? Naomi scrolled back. 6 months, 9 months, a year. The pattern emerged like a constellation. Every luxury, every indulgence. Every weekend Claire had been away or sick or too tired from pregnancy. At least a year, Naomi said quietly. Maybe longer. Claire did what she always did when the world stopped making sense. Made herself smaller. Started apologizing. Felt crazy for even suspecting. Maybe there's an explanation. Maybe it's for clients, business expenses. I shouldn't have looked. I should have just asked him. Claire, stop. I'm overreacting. Pregnancy hormones. The stress. I'm not thinking clearly. Claire, listen to me. Naomi grabbed both of Claire's hands, held tight. You are not crazy. You are not overreacting. The facts don't lie. Numbers can't gaslight you. He is spending your money on someone else while you're lying in a hospital bed carrying his child. That is not a misunderstanding. That is betrayal. The word hung between them. Heavy, true betrayal. Claire pulled her hands away, wrapped her arms around her belly, around the baby who kept kicking, who didn't know yet that his father was a liar. What do I do? First, you take screenshots of everything. Email them to yourself, to me, multiple copies. He can't erase what's already documented. He wouldn't erase anything. You sure about that? Claire wasn't sure about anything anymore. They spent the next hour documenting everything. Every charge, every hotel, every restaurant. Naomi created a spreadsheet, organized by date, by amount, by category. She was methodical, professional, the kind of friend who doesn't just sympathize, who acts. Total spending on what appears to be affair-related expenses, Naomi said, fingers flying across her own laptop. $137,000 over the past year. The number didn't feel real. It was too large, too impossible. And you're in a shared hospital room, Naomi continued, because your insurance is the cheapest HMO available, while he's renting entire hotel floors. He always said we needed to be smart with money, that his company was in a growth phase, that we should live below our means for now. Apparently his means and your means are very different. The sun started to rise. Orange light crept through the window. Nurses changed shifts. The hospital woke up. Carts rattled in hallways. Phones rang at nurses' stations. Life continued, indifferent to personal catastrophes. Maria stirred behind the curtain. Mija, you still there? Still here. Your friend came? She's here. Good, you're gonna need her. Naomi stood, stretched. Her suit was wrinkled now, makeup faded, but her eyes were sharp, alert, already planning. I need to make some calls, get some information. There's someone you should talk to. Who? A divorce attorney, best one I know. Tom Gallagher. He specializes in high-asset cases where one spouse has been hiding money. I don't know if I want a divorce. Naomi's expression softened. I know, but you need to protect yourself and your baby. Even if you decide to work things out later, you need to know your options now, before Blake realizes you know, before he has time to move money around. He wouldn't do that. Are you sure? No, Claire wasn't sure. The man who would rent hotel floors while his pregnant wife shared a hospital room. That man was capable of anything. Make the call, Claire said. Naomi left to find better cell service. Claire sat alone. Well, not alone. Maria was still there, breathing, sleeping, a stranger who somehow felt like an anchor. Proof that other people survived difficult things, that single mothers made it work, that the worst wasn't the end. Claire's phone buzzed. Finally. Blake. Hey, babe, sorry I missed your calls. Phone died and I forgot my charger. Everything okay? 17 hours. It took him 17 hours to respond. She stared at the text, composed her response carefully. Every word mattered now. I'm fine. When are you coming to visit? The three dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Meetings all day, probably tonight, love you. Love you, two words that used to mean everything. Now they meant nothing. Worse than nothing. They meant lies. Claire didn't respond. Instead, she opened Instagram, found the account that had tagged Blake, a young woman, 20-something, beautiful, long dark hair, perfect makeup, designer clothes in every photo. And there, 3 photos back, Blake's arm around her shoulders. The caption, best boss ever, so grateful for this amazing opportunity. Best boss. The profile said, Vanessa Sterling, executive assistant at Morrison Tech Solutions. Executive assistant. Claire clicked through every photo, looking for clues, looking for proof, looking for something to confirm what she already knew in her bones. There, a photo from 2 weeks ago. Vanessa wearing a necklace, delicate, gold, a pendant with a small diamond. The caption, when your boss appreciates all your hard work, feeling blessed. Claire opened the bank statements again. Searched, found it. Tiffany and Company, $2,800. 2 weeks ago, the necklace. He bought his assistant a $3,000 necklace. Claire's hands shook. Not from fear anymore. From rage, pure, crystalline rage that started in her chest and spread like fire through every vein, every nerve, every cell. The blood pressure monitor started beeping. Loud, insistent. Naomi rushed back in. Claire, breathe. You need to breathe. He bought her jewelry, Tiffany jewelry, while I've been wearing my grandmother's old engagement ring because he said we should save money. I know, but you need to calm down. He's spending my money on his mistress and I'm supposed to calm down? The door opened. Dr. Rutherford, then a nurse. They swarmed, checked monitors, adjusted medication, spoke in low, urgent tones. Blood pressure is 175 over 105, the nurse said. Increase the mag, Dr. Rutherford ordered. Then declare, you need to rest. No stress, no phones, no laptops, nothing that elevates your pressure. I can't just lie here. You can and you will, unless you want to deliver today, at 34 weeks, with an underdeveloped baby who'll spend weeks in the NICU. That got through, the image of her baby, too small, too early, struggling to breathe. Claire nodded, lay back, closed her eyes, but she couldn't unsee what she knew, couldn't unknow the truth. Behind her eyelids, numbers scrolled, charges, hotels, jewelry, all adding up to one impossible fact. Her husband had been living 2 lives, and she'd been too trusting to see it. Maria's voice drifted through the curtain, soft, knowing. Mija, you know what saved me when I finally left my ex? Anger, not sadness, not fear. Anger. Anger gets you out of bed, makes you fight. Sadness makes you stay. Remember that. Claire remembered. Owen Fletcher appeared at 7:15 in the morning. Claire was staring at the ceiling, counting tiles, trying not to think. Naomi had gone home to shower and change. Maria was in labor again, nurses attending behind the curtain. Claire didn't know Owen well. Blake's business partner, co-founder of Morrison Tech Solutions. They'd met a handful of times at company events. He seemed nice, quiet. The technical one, while Blake was the face, the sales guy, the charmer. Owen knocked on the door frame even though the door was open, held a folder, looked uncomfortable. Claire, can I come in? Sure. He entered slowly, looked around, saw the shared room, the old equipment, the flickering lights. Something passed across his face. Disgust? Anger? Hard to tell. I shouldn't be here, he said. If Blake finds out I came... What do you want, Owen? He sat in the chair Naomi had occupied all night, set the folder on the swinging table, wouldn't meet Claire's eyes. I have 3 daughters, 12, 14, and 16. I think about what I'm teaching them, about what kind of men I want them to marry, or avoid. He finally looked up. I can't watch this anymore. Watch what? Blake, Vanessa, the lies, the money, all of it. Claire's chest tightened. What about the money? Owen opened the folder, pulled out papers, spreadsheets, bank statements, but not personal. Corporate. Vanessa Sterling, on our payroll for 14 months. Title, executive assistant. Salary, $200,000 annually. That seems high for an assistant. It is. Want to know how many hours she's logged? How many actual tasks she's completed? How many? 0. She's never worked a single day, never answered a single email, never attended a single meeting. Owen pulled out more papers, but she has a company credit card, company apartment, company car, all listed as business expenses, all tax deductible, all completely fraudulent. The word landed like a punch. Fraudulent. Blake told me she was helping with client relations, Claire said. Even as the words left her mouth, they sounded hollow, stupid, naive. There are no client relations. She's his mistress, Claire. Everyone on the board knows it. Well, 2 of us know it. The others suspect but don't want to rock the boat. The company's doing well. Why ask questions? You're on the board. You could stop it. I've tried. Blake's the CEO. He has controlling shares. I can't overrule him without proof that harms the company. And technically, client relations is a legitimate business expense, even if there are no actual clients. Claire stared at the papers, numbers, addresses, her husband's signature on every document. Why are you telling me this? Owen pulled out another stack. Different papers, offshore accounts, wire transfers. Because 3 days ago, Blake started moving money. Personal accounts into overseas holdings, Cayman Islands, Switzerland, places that are very difficult to access legally. Why would he do that? Because the company's about to be audited. Standard procedure when you are growing fast. IRS wants to make sure everything's legitimate. When they look closely at Vanessa's employment, they're going to have questions. Blake knows this. He's protecting his assets. From the audit? Owen's expression was pity. Pure pity. From you, Claire. He's protecting his money from you. This is what people do before they file for divorce. They hide assets so the spouse can't get them in the settlement. The room tilted. Claire gripped the bed rail. He's going to divorce me? I don't know, but he's preparing for it. Moving money where you can't reach it. Where courts can't reach it. Getting everything in order. Owen stood, left the folder. You need to file first, before he moves everything, before he has time to hide it all. You have maybe 72 hours. After that, tracking this money becomes nearly impossible. I'm pregnant. I'm in the hospital. How am I supposed to? That's why I brought you this. Evidence, documentation, everything your lawyer needs to freeze his accounts, to stop the transfers. But you have to act fast. He moved toward the door, stopped, turned back. Blake was my friend. I wanted to believe he was just going through something. Midlife crisis, stress, whatever. But when he moved that money, when he started planning to screw you over while you're lying here pregnant with his kid, that's when I knew. He's not the person I thought he was. Maybe he never was. After Owen left, Claire sat in silence. The folder sat on the table. Evidence, proof, betrayal documented in spreadsheets and wire transfers. Maria's voice came through the curtain, strained, in pain. Mija, you get all that? You heard? Hard not to. Walls are thin or curtains, whatever. A sharp intake of breath, another contraction. When it passed, you're gonna do it? File for divorce? I don't know. Maybe there's an explanation. Maybe Owen's wrong about what Blake's planning. You don't believe that? No, Claire didn't believe that. But admitting it out loud felt like giving up, like acknowledging that the last 6 years had been a lie, that the man she married never existed, that she'd been sleeping next to a stranger who was capable of this level of deception. Her phone rang. Blake. Claire stared at it, rang 3 times. 4. She answered. Hey, babe, Blake said, cheerful, light, like nothing was wrong, like the world hadn't imploded. How are you feeling? Tired. Blood pressure okay? It's been better. Good, good. Listen, I'm going to try to stop by tonight, probably around 8. I have back-to-back meetings until then. You need anything? Yes, she wanted to scream. I need you to be a different person. I need the last year to be a nightmare. I need you to not be renting hotel floors and buying jewelry for your assistant while I'm sharing a hospital room. No, she said, I don't need anything. Okay, love you. Get some rest. He hung up before she could respond. Claire looked at the folder, looked at her phone, looked at her belly where her son was kicking. Strong, healthy, alive, depending on her to make the right choice. She opened her phone, typed in the search bar, divorce attorney near me. Tom Gallagher's name appeared at the top. 5-star reviews, specializes in high-asset divorces, aggressive representation. Protect what's yours. Claire clicked the number. It rang twice. Gallagher Law, how can I help you? My name is Claire Morrison. I need to speak to Tom Gallagher. It's urgent. Mr. Gallagher is with a client. Can I take a message? Tell him Owen Fletcher sent me. Tell him I have 72 hours before my husband hides all our money. Tell him I'm 8 months pregnant in a hospital bed and I need help. Now. A pause. Keys clicking. Hold, please. 2 minutes of hold music. Then a male voice. Younger than expected. Sharp. Alert. Mrs. Morrison, Tom Gallagher, Owen just called me. I'm looking at my calendar. I can be at County General in 40 minutes. Room 217, correct? How did you know my room number? Owen's thorough. I'll be there soon. Don't talk to your husband. Don't sign anything. Don't move any money yourself. Understand? I understand. Good, we're going to fix this. He hung up. Claire set the phone down. Her hands weren't shaking anymore. The rage had crystallized into something harder, colder, more useful. Determination. Maria's voice again. Softer now, gentler. That's what I'm talking about, mija. That's the anger I told you about. Hold on to that. You're gonna need it. Claire would hold on to it because Maria was right. Sadness made you stay. Anger got you out the door. And Claire was done staying. Tom Gallagher arrived 38 minutes later. Early 30s, sharp suit, sharper eyes, carrying a leather briefcase that probably cost more than Claire's car. He took one look at the shared room and his jaw tightened. Mrs. Morrison? Claire, please. He pulled the chair close to her bed, sat, opened his briefcase, pulled out a legal pad and 3 pens, lined them up precisely, organized, methodical. Owen sent me everything. I've already started drafting emergency motions, but I need you to walk me through the timeline. When did you first suspect? Last night I saw a social media post. He was tagged at a hotel. The Grand Meridian? Yes, how did you? Owens included the hotel receipts. The 7th floor, $47,000 a month. For how long? I don't know. The statement only showed 1 month. Tom made notes. Quick, efficient handwriting. We'll subpoena the full records. What else? Claire told him everything. The phone call, the phone, the woman's voice, the bank statements, the jewelry, Vanessa Sterling's profile, the company apartment, the offshore accounts. Tom listened without interrupting. When she finished, he set down his pen. Okay, here's what we're dealing with. Your husband is having an affair with an employee. He's using marital assets and company funds to support that affair. And he's currently moving money to avoid asset division in a divorce. Did I miss anything? He canceled my health insurance. Tom's pen stopped midair. I'm sorry, what? This morning, the hospital administrator came in, said my insurance was terminated. Blake's the primary policyholder. He removed me from coverage. The temperature in the room dropped. Tom's expression went from professional to furious in half a second. You're 34 weeks pregnant with a high-risk condition, and he canceled your health insurance? Yes. That's not just cruel. That's evidence. Perfect, damning evidence. Tom's pen flew across the page. Emergency motion for temporary restraining order. Emergency motion for spousal support. Emergency motion for immediate insurance reinstatement. We're filing today. Judge Margaret Sinclair handles emergency family law cases. She had a similar experience 30 years ago. Husband left her pregnant with twins. She doesn't forget. She doesn't forgive. And she doesn't tolerate financial abuse. Can you really file that fast? I can when a pregnant woman's insurance is canceled vindictively. Judge Sinclair will hear us tomorrow. Maybe today if we're lucky. Tom pulled out more papers. I need you to sign these. Retainer agreement. Permission to access financial records. Authorization to file on your behalf. Claire hesitated. Signing felt final, like crossing a bridge that would burn behind her. If you don't do this now, Tom said quietly, in 3 days that money will be gone. The offshore accounts will be complete. You'll spend years in court trying to track down assets that are hidden in countries with no extradition treaties. Your son will be in college before you see a settlement. Is that what you want? No, that wasn't what Claire wanted. She signed. Tom gathered the papers, organized them, clipped them together. Okay, I'm going to file these within the hour. The hearing will likely be tomorrow morning. 10 a.m., Judge Sinclair's courtroom. Can you be there? I'm supposed to be on bed rest. This is more important. Bring your doctor if you can. The optics of you showing up in a hospital gown will help. Judges respond to visual evidence of neglect. That feels manipulative. It's true, isn't it? You're in a hospital bed. He's in a luxury hotel. That's not manipulation, that's reality. Claire nodded. He was right. This was reality. Ugly, painful reality. Tom stood, collected his briefcase. One more thing. Your husband will be served with papers this afternoon. He's going to call you. He's going to be angry, possibly threatening. Do not engage. Do not explain. Do not apologize. Every word you say can be used against you. Understand? I understand. Good. He moved toward the door, stopped. For what it's worth, I've been doing this 15 years. I've seen every kind of spouse. The ones who cheat but feel guilty. The ones who cheat and hide it. And the ones who cheat and then punish their partner for discovering it. Your husband is the third kind. He won't admit fault. He'll make you the villain. He'll tell everyone you're crazy, vindictive, a gold digger. Don't believe him. Don't let him gaslight you. You know the truth. After Tom left, Claire sat in the quiet. Maria was sleeping again, exhausted from labor. The contractions had slowed. Sometimes that happened. The body needed rest before the final push. Claire understood. Her body needed rest too. Her mind, her heart. But there was no time for rest. Not yet. Her phone buzzed. A text from Naomi. On my way back, bringing real food. Hospital food is garbage. Also bringing my laptop. We have work to do. Work. Yes, there was work to do. Evidence to organize. Statements to prepare. A case to build. Claire opened Owen's folder again. Looked at the offshore account numbers. The wire transfers. Blake's signature on every page. So confident. So certain he wouldn't get caught. Men like Blake never thought they'd get caught. They thought money insulated them. That charm could explain away anything. That their wives would be too embarrassed or too scared or too dependent to fight back. Blake had miscalculated. Claire wasn't embarrassed. She was furious. And fury was so much more useful than shame. She picked up her phone, opened the Notes app, started typing. Every detail she could remember. Every lie he'd told, every time he'd been unreachable, every excuse, every business trip that maybe wasn't business. The list grew, longer and longer, a catalog of deception. When Naomi arrived an hour later with Thai food and determination, Claire had filled 3 pages. What's all this? Naomi asked, unpacking containers of pad Thai and spring rolls. Evidence. Everything I remember that seemed off, but I ignored. Naomi read through the notes. Her expression darkened with each line. Claire, this is 2 years of lies. How did you not see it? I trusted him. You shouldn't have, Bob, had to verify everything your husband told you. That's not trust. That's paranoia. He made you feel crazy for having normal instincts. The food smelled amazing. Claire hadn't eaten since yesterday, couldn't stomach the hospital meals. But now, with Naomi here and a plan forming, hunger returned. She ate, tasted nothing, but ate anyway. Her body needed fuel. Her baby needed fuel. Tom's filing the emergency motions, Claire said between bites. Hearing tomorrow, maybe today. Good. What do you need from me? Help remembering there are gaps. Times I can't account for. Places I think he said he was, but I'm not sure. They spent the next 3 hours reconstructing Claire's memory, cross-referencing Blake's claim schedule with the bank statements, finding discrepancies, finding lies, finding proof. By noon, they had a timeline, a clear, undeniable timeline of infidelity. By 1 p.m., Tom called. We're on for tomorrow, 10 a.m. Judge Sinclair cleared her schedule. She read the insurance cancellation and said, and I quote, "Get that woman in my courtroom immediately. What do I need to bring? Yourself, your doctor if possible, and every ounce of courage you have. Blake's lawyer will try to paint you as hysterical, unstable, motivated by revenge. You need to be calm, factual, unshakable. I can do that. I know you can. See you tomorrow." Claire hung up, looked at Naomi. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, Naomi agreed. You ready? No, Claire wasn't ready. How could anyone be ready for this? For destroying her marriage, for fighting the father of her child, for admitting that everything she'd believed was a lie. But ready or not, tomorrow was coming, and she would face it, because she had no choice, because her son deserved a mother who fought, because she deserved better than a man who treated her like an inconvenience. Maria stirred behind the curtain. Mija, I heard all that. You got this. Tomorrow you walk in there and you tell that judge the truth. Nothing more, nothing less. The truth is enough. Claire hoped Maria was right. She hoped the truth was enough. Blake arrived at 6 p.m., not 8 like he'd promised. 6. 3 hours early. Claire was ready. She'd rehearsed with Naomi, practiced staying calm, practiced not reacting, not engaging, not giving him ammunition. But when he walked through the door carrying expensive flowers, roses, her least favorite, but he'd never bothered to learn that, all the practice evaporated. He looked good. Damn him, $5,000 suit, hair perfectly styled, tan from the weekend he claimed to spend at a tech conference, but had actually spent at the Beverly Hills Hotel with someone else. He looked rested, happy, comfortable, while she lay in a hospital bed, swollen and exhausted and betrayed. Hey, sweetheart, Blake said. That voice, the one he used for clients, for charm, for manipulation. I brought you flowers, thought they might brighten up this depressing room. He looked around, registered the shared space for the first time, wrinkled his nose. God, this place is terrible. Why didn't you ask for a private room? Insurance doesn't cover private rooms. It's like $20 a day. I would have paid the difference. $20? He was worried about $20 while spending $47,000 on a hotel suite. Claire said nothing. Let the silence stretch. Waited. Blake set the flowers on the windowsill, pulled the chair close, reached for her hand. She moved it away. Subtle, but deliberate. His eyes narrowed just for a second. Then the smile was back. You okay? You seem tense. I'm fine. Blood pressure doing better? It's been better. Good, that's good. He glanced at his watch. Expensive, new. She didn't recognize it. Listen, I can't stay long. I have a dinner meeting at 8, but I wanted to check on you, make sure you and the baby are okay. We're fine. You sure? You sound weird. Here it was, the moment. Claire could let it go, pretend everything was fine, wait for tomorrow's hearing, or she could confront him now, get it over with. She'd never been good at waiting. Where were you really last night? Claire asked. Kept her voice level, neutral, just asking a question. I told you, business dinner. At the Grand Meridian Hotel? Blake's expression didn't change, didn't flicker. Perfect control. That's where the restaurant is, the new one on the top floor. Investors love it. You weren't at the restaurant. You were in a room on the seventh floor. Now the mask slipped, just a fraction. Were you checking up on me? It's our joint account. I'm allowed to see the charges. That's my money, Claire. My company, my income. Your name is on the account as a courtesy. You don't get to interrogate me about how I spend it. The words hit like slaps. His money, courtesy, as if 6 years of marriage meant nothing, as if being pregnant with his child meant nothing. $47,000, Claire said. 1 month for an entire floor. It's for clients, for meetings. The company needs... Vanessa Sterling isn't a client. She's your assistant, making $200,000 a year, living in a company apartment, driving a company car, and she's never worked a single day. Blake stood, fast, towered over the bed, used his height, used his presence. Intimidation tactics she'd never noticed before. Who told you that? Owen? Did Owen come here? That son of a... It doesn't matter who told me. Is it true? You don't understand how business works. Sometimes you have to keep people happy, keep them close. Vanessa has connections, relationships with potential investors. Her presence is valuable even if she's not in the office every day. She answered your phone last night, told you to come back to bed. Silence. Complete, deafening silence. Blake's face changed. The charm disappeared. What was left was cold, calculating. This was who he really was. You called my room? It's supposed to be our room, Blake. We're married. You're paranoid. I heard her voice. You misheard. You're stressed, pregnant. Hormones make you irrational. There it was, the gaslighting, making her doubt her own senses, her own reality. Claire had done this 1,000 times before, made herself smaller, started apologizing, felt crazy for even questioning him. But not this time. I'm not irrational, Claire said, voice steady, clear. I know what I heard. I know what I saw in the bank statements. I know about the jewelry, the dinners, the hotels, the offshore accounts you opened 3 days ago. I know everything, Blake. His expression shifted again, from denial to anger, pure, undiluted rage. You had no right to go through my finances. They're our finances. Nothing is ours. It's mine. I earned it. I built that company. You contributed nothing. I supported you. I believed in you. I put my career on hold so you could focus on yours. Your career? He laughed, mean, cruel. You worked at a nonprofit, making $30,000 a year, playing charity worker. That's not a career. That's a hobby. Each word landed like a punch. This was what he really thought, how he really saw her. As nothing, as less than, as something that could be discarded. Maria's voice cut through from behind the curtain. Mija, don't listen to him. I've been homeless 3 years. I know a con artist when I hear one. Blake's head whipped toward the curtain. Great. My pregnant wife is taking advice from... The door opened. Dr. Rutherford. Perfect timing. She took one look at Blake's posture, Claire's face, and her expression hardened. Mr. Morrison, step back from the patient. Now. I'm talking to my wife. You're intimidating a woman in medical crisis. Step back or I'll have security remove you. Blake stepped back, but not far. His eyes stayed on Claire, angry, threatening. This isn't over. Yes, Claire said, it is. Get out. Claire, get out before I have security remove you. He left, but at the door he turned back. One last shot. You'll regret this. You have no idea what you just started. Remember who pays for everything, who owns everything. You'll end up with nothing. And the door slammed behind him. Claire's hands shook. The blood pressure monitor screamed. Dr. Rutherford and a nurse rushed in, checked vitals, adjusted medication, spoke in urgent tones. 175 over 110, the nurse said. Damn it. Dr. Rutherford increased the eye flow. Claire, you need to calm down. He threatened me. I heard. I'll document everything, but right now you need to breathe. Your baby's heart rate is elevated. We can't have you going into early labor. Claire breathed, counted. focused. Slowly, the numbers came down. Her heart rate decreased. The baby's distress eased. After the medical team left, Maria spoke again. You did good, mija. Standing up to him, not backing down. That takes strength. I don't feel strong. I feel terrified. Fear and strength aren't opposites. Sometimes they're the same thing. You're scared because you're finally fighting. Fighting is scary, but you know what's scarier? Not fighting. Staying in a marriage with a man who talks to you like that. Claire knew Maria was right, but knowing and feeling were different things. Right now, she felt small, powerless. Like Blake had said, nothing. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This is Tom Gallagher. Gallagher, your husband's attorney just called. Preston Ward. Apparently Blake wants to work things out, wants to drop the court case, wants to go to marriage counseling. I told him we'll see him in court tomorrow. Don't respond to any calls or texts from Blake. He's in damage control mode, trying to manipulate you into dropping the case. Don't fall for it. Claire wouldn't fall for it. She'd already fallen once. For Blake's charm, his promises, his lies. She wouldn't fall again. The hospital administrator appeared at 7:15 a.m., clipboard clutched like a shield. Uncomfortable expression. The kind of expression that meant bad news. Mrs. Morrison, I'm Jennifer Chen from billing. We need to discuss your account. Claire sat up. As much as someone 8 months pregnant on bed rest could sit up. What about it? Your insurance was terminated yesterday. The primary policyholder, your husband, called and removed you from coverage. The words hung in the air. Expected, but still shocking. Still cruel. He can't do that. I'm pregnant. Unfortunately, he can. As the primary policyholder, he has the right to modify dependence on the policy. You'll qualify for emergency Medicaid, but the processing time is 3 to 5 business days. What happens until then? Jennifer consulted her clipboard. Wouldn't meet Claire's eyes. You're classified as self-pay. We'll continue your care, of course, but the P's... She slid a paper across the swinging table. Claire looked at the estimate. The numbers blurred. Came back into focus. $83,000. Hospital stay, labor and delivery. Potential NICU care if the baby came early. Medications, monitoring, all of it. $83,000. I don't have $83,000. We offer payment plans. And once Medicaid processes, 3 to 5 business days, what if the baby comes before then? Then the costs will be higher. NICU care can run $10,000 to $20,000 per day depending on severity. Per day, Claire couldn't breathe. The room spun. This was Blake's revenge. His punishment for defying him, for discovering his secrets. He'd weaponized the healthcare system. Used her pregnancy as leverage. Used their baby as a bargaining chip. After Jennifer left, Claire sat in shock. Stared at the estimate, at the impossible numbers, at the proof that Blake would hurt their son to hurt her. DeRoy Rutherford entered 10 minutes later, took one look at Claire's face and the paper in her hand. He canceled your insurance. Yes, that bastard. De Rutherford rarely cursed. The word carried weight, fury. I've been an OB for 27 years. I've seen terrible things. Domestic violence, abuse, neglect. But this, financially abandoning your pregnant wife, making her beg for medical care, that's a special kind of evil. What do I do? First, you document this. Every conversation, every paper. This is evidence, financial abuse, endangerment. Any judge will see this for what it is. The hearing is this morning, 10 a.m. I'm coming with you. You don't have to. Yes, I do. This is unconscionable. You're my patient. I have a duty to protect you and your baby. If that means testifying in court, I'll testify. Naomi arrived at 8, Tom Gallagher at 8:30. They formed a circle around Claire's bed, war council, battle planning. The insurance cancellation is perfect, Tom said. Not happy about it, just professional, acknowledging a strategic advantage. Judge Sinclair will be furious. This kind of cruelty is exactly what motivates her. But we need to be smart about presentation. Claire, you're going to be in that courtroom in a hospital gown. IV still attached if possible. Dr. Rutherford will testify about your medical condition and the risk of denying care. Naomi will testify as a character witness, and I'll present the financial evidence Owen provided. What about Blake? Claire asked. What will he say? His attorney will claim this is a misunderstanding, that the insurance was canceled accidentally, that Blake is devastated by your accusations, that you're having some kind of mental breakdown due to pregnancy hormones and stress. That's not true. I know, but that's what they'll argue, which is why you need to be calm, collected, factual. Don't get emotional. Don't get angry. Just tell the truth. Easier said than done, but Claire would try. At 9:15, they helped her into a wheelchair. Dr. Rutherford disconnected some monitors, but kept the IV line. You're technically still my patient. I'm not letting you leave without proper medical supervision. The trip to the courthouse took 20 minutes. Claire had never been in a courthouse before. It was exactly like TV showed. Marble floors, high ceilings, security guards, people in suits rushing past with important papers. Judge Margaret Sinclair's courtroom was on the third floor. They arrived early, waited in the hallway. Claire in her wheelchair, hospital gown under the coat Naomi had brought, IV bag hanging from a pole. She looked exactly like what she was, a pregnant woman in medical crisis. Blake arrived at 9:55 with his attorney. Preston Ward, 60-something, silver hair, $4,000 suit. He took one look at Claire and his expression flickered. Surprise? Annoyance, hard to read. Blake's face when he saw her was easier to read. Shock, then fury, then calculation. He was figuring angles, looking for advantage, always working. He tried to approach. Claire, we need to talk. Tom stepped between them. No contact with my client. She's my wife. She's a plaintiff in a legal proceeding. No contact. A bailiff opened the courtroom doors. Judge Sinclair is ready. They filed in. Claire wheeled to the front. Tom on one side, Dr. Rutherford on the other, Naomi behind them, Blake and Preston on the opposite side. An invisible line down the middle of the courtroom. Battle lines drawn. Judge Margaret Sinclair entered. 60-something. Steel gray hair pulled into a severe bun. Reading glasses on a chain. She looked at Blake, then at Claire in the wheelchair. Her expression hardened. Let's begin, she said, voice like granite. Mr. Gallagher, I've read your emergency motions, insurance termination, asset freeze, temporary support. Make your case. Tom stood. Your Honor, this is a straightforward matter of financial abuse and endangerment. Mrs. Morrison is 34 weeks pregnant with a high-risk condition. 3 days ago, her husband canceled her health insurance, not because he couldn't afford it, but as punishment for discovering his affair. Preston Ward jumped up. Objection. There's no proof of an affair. These are baseless accusations. Sit down, Mr. Ward, Judge Sinclair said. You'll have your turn. Continue, Mr. Gallagher. Tom presented the evidence, bank statements showing luxury spending, hotel receipts, jewelry purchases, Vanessa Sterling's employment records showing zero work performed. The offshore accounts opened 3 days ago. The insurance cancellation the day after Claire questioned Blake about his whereabouts. Preston Ward objected repeatedly. Judge Sinclair overruled him every time. Then Dr. Rutherford testified. Explained preeclampsia. Explained the risks. Explained that denying medical care could kill both Claire and the baby. And you're certain the insurance was canceled deliberately? Judge Sinclair asked. The timing is too precise to be accidental, Dr. Rutherford said. The same day Mrs. Morrison discovered evidence of infidelity, her insurance disappeared. That's retaliation. Finally, Preston Ward stood for Blake's defense. Your Honor, this is all a misunderstanding. Mr. Morrison is a successful businessman. He works long hours. He may have been staying at a hotel near his office for convenience. That's not infidelity. That's dedication to his company. He rented an entire floor, Tom said, for $47,000 a month. That's not convenience. That's a second home. The insurance was canceled due to an administrative error. An administrative error that happened the same day his wife questioned him? Judge Sinclair's tone could cut glass. Mr. Ward, I've been on this bench for 30 years. I wasn't born yesterday. This is financial abuse, clear and obvious. Preston tried another angle. Mrs. Morrison is making serious accusations without proof. She's emotionally unstable. Pregnancy hormones. Don't, Judge Sinclair said, voice deadly quiet. Don't you dare suggest that a woman's legitimate grievances are just hormones. I was pregnant when my ex-husband pulled similar tactics, trying to make me seem crazy so he could leave with everything. It didn't work then. It won't work now. She turned to Blake. Mr. Morrison, stand up. Blake stood, confident, like he could charm his way out of this. Did you rent the 7th floor of the Grand Meridian Hotel for $47,000? Judge Sinclair asked. Yes, but did you employ a woman named Vanessa Sterling as an executive assistant, making $200,000 annually while she performed no actual work? She has valuable connections. Yes or no, Mr. Morrison? Yes. Did you open offshore accounts 3 days ago? Preston whispered to Blake. Blake hesitated. Yes. And did you cancel your wife's health insurance yesterday? It was a mistake, an administrative. Mr. Morrison, Judge Sinclair said, I'm going to ask you one more question, and I suggest you answer truthfully. Do you love your wife? Silence. Complete, frozen silence. Blake looked at Preston, at Claire, at the judge. This is complicated. It's a yes or no question. Relationships are more complex than, that's a no. Judge Sinclair made notes. Here's my ruling. Insurance reinstated immediately. Mr. Morrison will contact the insurance company today and restore coverage. Assets frozen pending full financial discovery. No moving money, no selling property, no hiding anything. Temporary spousal support of $15,000 per month until this divorce is finalized. Mr. Morrison will pay all legal fees for both parties, and there will be no contact between Mr. and Mrs. Morrison except through attorneys. Bailiff, escort Mr. Morrison out first. I don't want him near the plaintiff. Blake's face went red. This is my courtroom, Judge Sinclair said, and in my courtroom, pregnant women don't get abandoned. Get out. Security escorted Blake and Preston out. Blake was yelling, threatening appeals, threatening lawsuits. His voice echoed down the marble hallways. After they left, Judge Sinclair looked at Claire. Her expression softened, just slightly. Mrs. Morrison, go have that baby. We'll handle the rest. Thank you, Your Honor. Don't thank me. Just make sure you fight for what you deserve. And what you deserve is a lot more than a man who treats you like this. They wheeled Claire back to the ambulance, back to the hospital, back to room 217 where Maria was finally holding her daughter. Isabella, 7 pounds, 2 ounces. Perfect. You did it? Maria asked. We did it, Claire said. Insurance is back. Money is frozen. I win. You win, Maria repeated. Smiled. Told you. Mothers don't lose when they fight for their babies. Claire hoped that was true because the fight wasn't over. This was just the first battle. But at least now she had ammunition, protection, support. At least now she wasn't alone. Claire made it back to County General at 11:30 a.m., exhausted, victorious, terrified. The courtroom had taken everything out of her. The performance of staying calm while her husband's lawyer called her unstable. The effort of not crying when Blake couldn't answer a simple question about loving her. The overwhelming relief when Judge Sinclair ruled in her favor. Now her body was done. Completely, utterly done. Dr. Rutherford wheeled her back to room 217, reconnected the monitors, checked vitals. Her expression grew concerned. Blood pressure is 180/115, she said. Higher than this morning. I was in court for 2 hours. I know, but it's too high. And your protein levels are elevated. Signs of worsening preeclampsia. Dr. Rutherford pulled up a chair, sat, made eye contact. Claire, we need to deliver this baby today. The risk of waiting is too great. The word should have scared her, should have sent her into panic. Instead, Claire felt relief. Finally, an end to the waiting, the uncertainty, the fear. Okay, she said, let's do it. We'll start with induction. See if your body responds. If not, we'll move to cesarean. Either way, you're having this baby in the next 12 to 24 hours. They started the Pitocin drip at noon. Claire lay back, stared at the ceiling tiles, counted, waited. Naomi sat beside her, holding her hand, not talking, just present. That's what good friends do. Show up, stay, bear witness. The contractions started at 1:15 p.m., mild at first, uncomfortable but manageable, like strong period cramps. Claire breathed through them, counted, focused. Maria had been discharged that morning. She'd stopped by before leaving. Baby Isabella wrapped in a donated blanket. You got this, mija. Labor is hard, but you're harder. Remember that. By 3 p.m., the contractions were stronger, coming every 5 minutes, lasting longer, hurting more. Claire tried different positions, walking, sitting, leaning. Nothing helped much. Naomi called Tom with updates. He'd already filed additional motions, discovery requests for all of Blake's financial records, subpoenas for bank statements, phone records, everything. Blake's lawyer called twice, Naomi reported. Wants to settle, wants to avoid a trial, wants to protect both parties from further stress. What did Tom say? He said we'll see them in court. No settlements until we know what we're settling for. Right now, Blake's hiding too much. Another contraction. Stronger. Claire gripped the bed rail, breathed, counted, survived. You need the epidural, Naomi said. You don't have to be a hero. Not yet. I want to wait. Why? Because, Claire paused. Another contraction. Breathe through it. Because this is the only thing I can control right now. My body, my pain, my choices. Everything else, Blake, the money, the divorce, I can't control any of it. But this, labor, this is mine. Naomi understood, didn't argue, just held Claire's hand through the next contraction, and the next, and the next. By 5 p.m., the contractions were coming every 3 minutes, lasting 90 seconds. Claire's water still hadn't broken. Her body was working but slowly. First babies took time. Everyone said so. Dr. Rutherford checked her progress. 4 centimeters. We're getting there, but your blood pressure is still too high. I want to break your water. Speed things along. The faster we deliver, the safer for you and the baby. Do it. The artificial rupture happened at 5:30 p.m. Immediate relief as pressure released, followed immediately by stronger contractions. Harder, faster, overwhelming. Now can I have the epidural? Claire gasped. Now you can have the epidural. The anesthesiologist arrived at 6 p.m., positioned Claire, inserted the needle. The relief was immediate, profound. The pain faded to pressure, manageable pressure. Claire could breathe again, think again. Thank you, she whispered. You did great, the anesthesiologist said. First-time moms always try to tough it out. There's no prize for suffering. Except there was. Claire had needed to prove to herself that she could endure, that she was strong enough, that Blake hadn't broken her. She'd proven it. Now she could rest. Naomi ordered food, hospital cafeteria sandwiches that tasted like cardboard but provided calories. Claire ate, mechanically, fuel for the work ahead. At 7 p.m., Tom called with news. Blake violated the restraining order. What? He tried to access the joint accounts, move more money. The bank flagged it and called me. I've notified Judge Sinclair. She's issuing a contempt citation. This is good for us. Shows he can't follow court orders. Shows he's trying to hide assets even after being explicitly told not to. What happens now? He'll be fined, maybe more depending on how angry the judge is. But more importantly, it proves our case, that he was planning to screw you over, that the offshore accounts weren't for business. They were to hide marital assets. After Tom hung up, Claire felt strange satisfaction. Blake had always been so smart, so careful, so confident. Now he was making mistakes, panicking, showing his true colors. At 8 p.m., Dr. Rutherford checked again. 8 centimeters, almost there. Maybe 2 more hours. 2 more hours. Claire could do 2 more hours. She closed her eyes, drifted, not sleeping, just existing, floating in the space between contractions, between pain and pressure, between who she'd been and who she was becoming. At 9:45 p.m., everything changed. Dr. Rutherford's voice cut through the haze. Claire, look at me." Claire opened her eyes. The room was full of people. Nurses, doctors, equipment, urgency. "What's wrong?" "The baby's heart rate is dropping. We need to deliver now. We're going to emergency cesarean." "But I'm almost there, 8 centimeters. You said—" "The baby's in distress. We can't wait." They moved fast, disconnecting monitors, wheeling the bed, Naomi running alongside. "I'm here. I'm right here." The hallway blurred, fluorescent lights strobed past, voices called orders. Claire's heart hammered. Not from pain, from fear, pure primal fear. "Please be okay. Please be okay. Please be okay." They burst through double doors into the operating room. Bright lights, cold air, the smell of antiseptic. Terror crystallized into clarity. This was it, the moment. Her son would be born in minutes. And then Blake appeared. He came out of nowhere, blocked the gurney's path. Security was there, but not fast enough. Blake's hands gripped the rails. "You're not taking my son," he said. "Sir, step aside. This is a medical emergency." Dr. Rutherford's voice was steel. She manipulated the judge, lied about everything. "I want a paternity test before my name goes on any birth certificate." The words were knives, each one sharper than the last. Claire, strapped to a gurney, about to have her abdomen cut open to save her baby's life, found words she didn't know she had. "You canceled my insurance, tried to have me committed, and now you want a paternity test?" She laughed. It hurt. Everything hurt. "Test him. Test the baby. Test the DNA. While you're at it, test your girlfriend for basic human decency." Security moved Blake aside. He fought, shouted, "You'll get nothing, nothing. That's my company, my money. You were just—" The operating room doors closed, cut off his words, cut off his voice. Silence. Blessed silence. Dr. Rutherford appeared above Claire's face, behind a surgical mask, but her eyes were kind. "Let's meet your baby." The surgery happened fast. Claire felt tugging, pressure. No pain, just sensation. Distant, like it was happening to someone else's body. And then, a sound. The best sound, a baby crying. "He's here," Dr. Rutherford said. "He's perfect." They lifted him up, over the curtain, just for a second, long enough for Claire to see. Wrinkled, red, furious at being evicted. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. "Hi, baby," Claire whispered. "Hi, Elliot. I'm your mom." They took him to be cleaned, measured, checked. Claire lay on the table while they stitched her back together, layer by layer, skin, muscle, all the parts that had been opened to bring him into the world. Naomi appeared beside her, tears streaming. "He's beautiful. He's so beautiful." "Is he okay?" "He's perfect. 6 pounds, 4 ounces, 18 inches. All fingers and toes accounted for." They wheeled Claire to recovery, brought Elliot to her, placed him on her chest, skin to skin. He rooted immediately, found her breast, latched, nursed like he'd been doing it forever. "Look at him go," the nurse said. "Natural-born eater." Claire looked down at her son. Her son. The word felt strange and right. This tiny person who depended on her for everything. Who would grow up knowing his father tried to deny his existence? Who would have questions she didn't know how to answer yet? But right now, none of that mattered. Right now, he was here. Safe, healthy, alive. "I promise you something," Claire whispered. So only Elliot could hear. "You will never wonder if you're loved. You will never be used as a weapon. You will know what it means to be protected. I don't know how I'm going to do this alone, but I'll figure it out. For you." Elliot's eyes drifted closed, milk-drunk, content, trusting. Claire's phone buzzed, a text from Tom. "Paternity results will be back in 24 hours. Express processing." Also, Blake was just arrested for violating the restraining order and attempting to interfere with medical care. He's spending the night in county jail. Sleep well. Claire did sleep well. For the first time in months, she slept without fear. Claire woke at 2 a.m., not because of pain. The medication was good, strong, but because Elliot was crying. That newborn cry that sounds like the world is ending. The night nurse helped her sit up, positioned pillows, helped Elliot latch. You're doing great. Most first-time moms struggle more than this. My body knows what to do even if my brain doesn't. The nurse laughed. That's exactly right. Trust your instincts. After Elliot finished nursing, Claire just held him, stared at his face, memorized every feature, his nose, his chin, his tiny fingers that wrapped around hers with surprising strength. The door opened. Naomi entered quietly. I couldn't sleep. Thought I'd check on you. I'm okay. Better than okay. He's perfect. He is. They sat in comfortable silence, the kind of silence that only exists between old friends. No need to fill every moment with words. At 6 a.m., Dr. Rutherford arrived, checked Claire's incision, checked vitals, checked Elliot's weight and latch and breathing. Everything looks good. You can probably go home in 2 days if you continue improving. That fast? Cesareans are major surgery, but recovery happens faster than you think. Plus, honestly, you'll be more comfortable at home than here. After the doctor left, Claire dozed. Elliot dozed. Naomi dozed in the chair. A strange, peaceful moment in the middle of chaos. The knock on the door came at 8 a.m. Blake stood there, with Vanessa Sterling. Claire's first instinct was rage. Pure, incandescent rage. How dare he bring his mistress to meet his newborn son? But then she looked at Vanessa, really looked. The young woman was uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. She kept glancing at Blake, then away, then back, like she wasn't sure she should be there. Blake pushed past the partially open door. I came to meet my son. You were arrested last night, Claire said. Charges were dropped. Misunderstanding. The officers overreacted. You blocked a medical emergency. I was emotional, stressed. They understood. Of course they did. Money bought understanding, bought second chances, bought everything. Blake approached the bassinet where Elliot slept, reached out to touch him. Don't, Claire said. He's my son. You demanded a paternity test. I was upset. I didn't mean it. You meant every word? Blake's jaw tightened, that anger underneath. Always there, always waiting. Vanessa wanted to meet him, to congratulate you. She's very excited about... Stop, Vanessa's voice, quiet but firm. Just stop. Blake turned. What? I can't do this anymore. Vanessa stepped forward, past Blake, toward Claire. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. About you, about the baby, about any of it. Vanessa, don't, Blake started. He told me he was divorced, Vanessa continued. Her voice shook, but she kept talking. Showed me papers. Said his ex-wife was crazy, vindictive, that she was trying to ruin him financially. I believed him. Claire stared. This girl, this woman, this person she'd hated for months without ever meeting. 2 days ago, I saw the court documents, Vanessa said. Your name, emergency hearing, pregnant wife. I've been sleeping with a married man, living in an apartment he paid for with company money, wearing jewelry that should have been yours. Vanessa, shut up. Blake's voice was dangerous now. You don't know what you're talking about. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I packed everything. I'm moving out, and I wrote a statement. She pulled an envelope from her purse, handed it to Claire. Everything Blake told me, everything we did, dated, witnessed, for your lawyer. Blake exploded. You stupid bitch! Do you know what you've done? I made you, gave you everything. You were nobody before me. And I was somebody after you. Vanessa turned to face him. I was your dirty secret, your kept woman, your proof that you could afford a young girlfriend. That's not somebody. That's an accessory. The room went silent. Even Blake seemed shocked, like he'd never considered that Vanessa might have thoughts, feelings, agency. Get out, Blake said. I'm going. Vanessa looked back at Claire one more time. He's beautiful. Your son. I'm sorry I was part of hurting you. I didn't know, but that doesn't excuse anything. I should have questioned more. I should have looked closer. I'm 26. I've made terrible choices. But I'm not a homewrecker. I didn't know there was a home. She left, just walked out, leaving Blake standing in the middle of the hospital room, exposed, abandoned by his accomplice. Security appeared in the doorway. Two guards. Mr. Morrison, you need to leave. The restraining order is still in effect. I have a right to see my son. Not according to the court order. You need to leave now. They escorted Blake out. He was screaming, threatening lawsuits, threatening Vanessa, threatening everyone. His voice echoed down the hallway. Pathetic, desperate. After they left, Claire opened the envelope. Read Vanessa's statement. 3 pages, single-spaced, detailed. Every lie Blake told, every expense he paid with company money, every hotel, every dinner, every gift, all documented, dated, witnessed by credit card statements and phone records Vanessa had saved. At the bottom, Vanessa had written, I don't expect forgiveness, but I hope this helps you get what you deserve, what you both deserve. Naomi read over Claire's shoulder. This is devastating. Tom can use this to prove fraud, misuse of corporate funds. Blake's going to lose everything. Claire should have felt triumphant, vindicated. Instead, she felt sad. For Vanessa, for herself, for every woman who'd ever believed a man's lies because she wanted to believe, because believing was easier than questioning. She was a victim too, Claire said. Yes, Naomi agreed, and now she's a witness, the best kind, one who has nothing to gain and everything to lose. Elliot woke up, cried, hungry again. Claire fed him while Naomi called Tom with the news about Vanessa's statement. Tom's response was one word, shouted loud enough that Claire could hear. Jackpot! The paternity results arrived at 3 p.m., delivered by courier, official lab results, 99.9% probability. Elliot Morrison was Blake Morrison's biological son. Tom called immediately. His lawyer is scrambling. Preston tried to spin it, said Blake was just being cautious, responsible. But the damage is done. He publicly accused you of infidelity, demanded a paternity test during a medical emergency. Judge Sinclair saw the footage from the hospital security. She's not pleased. What happens now? Emergency custody hearing, tomorrow. 10 a.m., same courtroom. Blake wants shared custody, wants to establish paternity officially, wants overnights starting at 6 months. Claire's chest tightened. The thought of sending her 6-month-old son to spend nights with Blake, with a man who tried to financially destroy her. No, that's what we'll argue. His behavior during your pregnancy, the insurance cancellation, the affair, the financial abuse, all of it. But Claire, I need you to prepare. Custody is different than divorce. Courts try to keep both parents involved, even terrible ones. He's not just terrible, he's dangerous. I know. We'll prove it. That evening, Naomi brought dinner, real food, Thai takeout from Claire's favorite restaurant, pad see ew, spring rolls, mango sticky rice. They ate in silence. Elliot slept between them, perfect and oblivious. You scared? Naomi asked. Terrified. You shouldn't be. You're the one who was there, who stayed, who suffered. Blake abandoned you. Judges remember that. Claire hoped Naomi was right. The next morning, they dressed Elliot in the outfit Naomi had brought. Blue onesie, tiny hat. He looked impossibly small, fragile, worth protecting. The drive to the courthouse was quiet. Claire had been discharged that morning. Against medical advice, but she'd insisted. This hearing was too important. Missing it meant letting Blake control the narrative. Judge Sinclair's courtroom was packed. Blake sat with Preston Ward, looking confident, wearing a different $5,000 suit, hair perfect, ready to perform. Tom presented first, showed timeline of Blake's behavior, insurance cancellation, hotel expenses, Vanessa's statement, the offshore accounts, the violation of the restraining order. This is not a man who should have unsupervised access to an infant, Tom argued. This is a man who prioritized his affair over his pregnant wife's health, who canceled insurance during a medical crisis, who tried to hide money rather than support his family, who denied his own son's paternity. These are not the actions of a responsible father. Preston Ward stood. Your Honor, Mr. Morrison admits he made mistakes. He was under tremendous stress. His company was facing an audit. His marriage was falling apart. He reacted poorly. But that doesn't make him a danger to his son. He wants to be involved, to co-parent, to support his child. Where was this desire to support when he canceled the insurance? Judge Sinclair asked. That was a mistake, an emotional reaction. He regrets it deeply. Does he? Judge Sinclair looked at Blake. Mr. Morrison, do you regret canceling your pregnant wife's insurance? Blake stood. Yes, Your Honor, I was angry. I wasn't thinking clearly. It won't happen again. What about the affair? Do you regret that? My relationship with Vanessa was complicated, but it's over now. I want to focus on my son. Your relationship cost your company hundreds of thousands of dollars in fraudulent expenses. Did you think about your son when you were spending that money on hotels and jewelry? Blake's confident expression slipped. I don't, that's different. How? The company has plenty of money. Money you stole to support an affair. Preston interrupted. Your Honor, we're not here to litigate business practices. Yes, we are, Judge Sinclair said, because a man who steals from his own company to support a mistress is not trustworthy, and trust is essential in co-parenting. She pulled out papers, read silently. The courtroom waited, silent, tense. Finally, here's my ruling. Full custody to Mrs. Morrison. Mr. Morrison will have supervised visitation only. 2 hours twice per week, supervised by a court-appointed monitor. No overnight visits until the child is at least 2 years old, at which point we'll revisit based on Mr. Morrison's behavior and involvement. Blake jumped up. That's not fair. He's my son. Yes, he is. And if you want a relationship with him, you'll prove you can be trusted. Prove you can put him first. Prove you are not the same man who abandoned his pregnant wife. Judge Sinclair's voice was ice. Supervised visits, that's my ruling. And Mr. Morrison, if you violate this order like you violated the last one, you'll lose visitation entirely. Do you understand? Blake's face was purple. Rage, pure rage. But he nodded. Good, we're adjourned. Outside the courthouse, Claire stood in the sunshine holding Elliot. Victory felt strange, hollow. She'd won, but winning meant her son would grow up with a part-time father, with a dad who needed supervision, who couldn't be trusted. Tom joined her on the courthouse steps. It's the best outcome we could hope for. I know. Blake's lawyer is already talking appeals, but they won't work. The evidence is too strong. His behavior too egregious. You're protected. What about the SEC investigation? Owen mentioned the company audit. That's moving forward. Vanessa's statement was sent to the investigators. They're very interested. Blake's looking at serious charges, wire fraud, embezzlement, misappropriation of corporate funds. This isn't just divorce court anymore. This is criminal. 3 weeks later, Claire sat in her new apartment, not the house she'd shared with Blake. That was tied up in litigation, but a small 2-bedroom in a good neighborhood, paid for with the temporary spousal support Mayor Judge Sinclair had ordered. The apartment was modest, but it was hers. She'd picked the furniture, hung the pictures, created a space that felt safe, clean, new. Elliot slept in his nursery, the room Naomi had helped paint, soft yellow, cheerful, full of secondhand furniture and donated baby items. It wasn't luxurious, but it was full of love. Maria visited with Isabella. The 2 babies lay side by side on a blanket. Isabella was bigger, 3 weeks older, but they seemed to recognize each other, made eye contact, cooed. You ever hear from your ex? Claire asked. Not since he left. Good riddance. Maria settled on the couch, comfortable, at ease. I got approved for permanent housing, starting next month. 2-bedroom apartment in a transitional complex, rent controlled. I can stay as long as I need. That's wonderful. It is, and I got the job, the one I interviewed for, administrative assistant at a law firm. Naomi's friend hired me. I start in 2 weeks. Daycare on site, benefits, real benefits. Claire smiled. You're going to be great. We're both going to be great. Maria looked at the babies. You know what I learned, Mija? Rich, poor, doesn't matter. We all bleed the same, hurt the same, and survive the same. You just had more comfort while doing it. I'm sorry for everything you went through. Don't be. I'm not homeless anymore. Got a job. got a future, got my baby girl. I'm doing better than I ever did with him. Maria smiled. Thanks to you. I didn't do anything. You fought in front of me, showed me fighting works. When you told that judge you were done making yourself small, I felt that. Here, she touched her chest. I decided that day I was done making myself invisible too. After Maria left, Claire sat alone. Well, not alone, Elliot was there, sleeping, breathing, alive. A reminder that something good had come from all this pain. Her phone buzzed. Tom. Blake's been arrested. SEC charges. $10 million in misappropriated funds. Multiple counts of wire fraud. His lawyers are good, but the evidence is overwhelming. He's looking at serious prison time. How serious? 5 to 10 years if convicted, and the evidence is solid. Vanessa's statement, Owen's documentation, bank records, all of it. Prison, Blake in prison. The thought should have felt like victory. Instead, it felt Simone, tragic, a waste of potential, of life, of everything that could have been. What about the company? Claire asked. Board voted Blake out. Owen's the new CEO. Company's cooperating with investigators. They'll survive, but Blake's done. After Tom hung up, Claire walked to the nursery, stood in the doorway, watched Elliot sleep, his chest rising and falling. His tiny fists curled, his face peaceful. Your father's going to prison, she whispered. Someday you'll ask about him, want to know who he is, why he's not here. And I'll tell you the truth, not to poison you against him, but to teach you the most important lesson I ever learned. Elliot slept on, didn't hear, but Claire kept talking, needed to say it out loud. Love shouldn't cost you everything, and anyone who asks you to disappear isn't someone you should love. Remember that, baby. When you're older, when you're choosing who to trust, who to let into your heart, remember that love should add to your life, not subtract from it. She walked to her own bedroom. The bed was empty, but not lonely. Tomorrow she had a meeting. Her old nonprofit had offered her the director position. More responsibility, better pay, a chance to build something meaningful. As Claire fell asleep, her last thought was this. The prison door was unlocked all along. She'd been her own warden. But not anymore. Not anymore. 6 months later, Claire pushed Elliot's stroller through the park near her apartment. October sunshine filtered through orange leaves that clung stubbornly to branches, refusing to fall just yet. The air smelled like autumn, like wood smoke from distant fireplaces, like cinnamon from the coffee shop on the corner, like change, like possibility, like the kind of day that made you believe in fresh starts. Elliot babbled at birds, at dogs, at squirrels darting across the path, at everything, 6 months old and already so curious about the world, already reaching for things with those chubby little hands, already trying to sit up on his own, wobbling like a tiny drunk person before toppling over, already developing a personality. Stubborn, determined, happy, so incredibly happy, people stopped to admire him, to comment on his smile, his eyes, how alert he was. Claire accepted the compliments graciously. Didn't mention that those eyes came from his father. That sometimes when Elliot looked at her with that intense gaze, she saw Blake, saw the man she'd married, the man who'd broken her trust, the man who was now sitting in a federal prison 200 miles away. Her phone rang. Tom Gallagher. She answered while keeping one hand on the stroller. The divorce is final, Simone, Tom said without preamble. He'd learned over the past 6 months that Claire preferred directness. No small talk, just facts. Judge Sinclair signed the papers this morning, everything we asked for. You got the house, full custody with his supervised visitation rights unchanged. Child support that actually reflects Blake's real income before he lost everything. $25,000 per month, health insurance for both you and Elliot, college fund fully funded, $250,000 already deposited. Everything. Claire stopped walking, sat on a nearby bench, let the words sink in. Final. After 6 months of negotiations, 6 months of back and forth, 6 months of Blake's lawyers trying to reduce payments, extend visitation, claw back assets. It was finally over. What about Blake? She asked. The sentencing? Yesterday, I meant to call you, but I wanted to wait until I had all the details. 8 years federal prison, wire fraud, embezzlement, misappropriation of corporate funds. The judge was not sympathetic. Blake tried to give a statement about how he was sorry, how he'd made mistakes, how he wanted to make amends. The judge cut him off, said his actions spoke louder than his words, said 8 years was actually lenient given the amount of money involved and the number of victims. 8 years. Claire tried to imagine it, tried to picture Blake in prison, wearing orange, following rules, being told what to do. The man who'd always been in control, who'd always had money to solve problems, who'd always believed rules were for other people. With good behavior, maybe 6, Tom continued. Federal sentences usually serve 85%, so realistically, he'll be out in 7 years. Elliot will be 7 years old, second grade, reading chapter books, playing soccer, a whole childhood without his father. How did he react to the sentence? Tom paused. Badly. He broke down, started crying, begging for leniency, talking about his son, about wanting to be a father. The judge wasn't moved, pointed out that he'd had opportunities to be a father, that he'd chosen his affair and his fraud over his family, that consequences were part of accountability. Claire should have felt something, satisfaction, victory, relief. Instead, she felt empty, tired, like she'd been fighting for so long that now the fight was over, she didn't know what to do with herself. How's the company doing? Claire asked. Changed the subject. Focused on something less emotionally complicated. Better than ever, actually. Owen's a revelation as CEO. Profits are up 30% from this time last year. Employee satisfaction is through the roof. Staff retention has improved dramatically. Turns out treating people well and running an ethical business is actually good for the bottom line. Who knew? Tom's voice held dry humor. Owen's been implementing all these changes. Transparency in accounting, ethics training, whistleblower protections, making sure what happened with Blake never happens again. That's good. That's really good. Oh, and Claire, one more thing. Owen's been working with the board on something in a victim compensation fund. For everyone affected by Blake's fraud, investors who lost money, employees whose retirement accounts were impacted, and you, especially you, you'll be receiving additional compensation beyond the court-ordered support. Your lawyers will have the exact figures next week, but I'm hearing it's substantial. 7 figures substantial. 7 figures. More than $1 million. Money that acknowledged what had been taken from her, what had been stolen. Not just financially, but emotionally, spiritually, in every way that mattered. Why high? Claire asked. The court already ordered support. Because Owen feels responsible. He was on the board. He saw signs of what Blake was doing but didn't act fast enough. He wants to make it right. The board agreed. They're voting to approve the fund next week. It's happening. After Tom hung up, Claire sat on the bench in the autumn sunshine, watched Elliot try to grab his own feet through the stroller straps. He was getting so big, so heavy. Her back ached from carrying him. But it was a good ache, the kind that meant she was strong enough, capable enough, enough. She thought about 7 figures, about financial security, about never worrying how to pay rent again, about Elliot's college being fully funded, about being able to breathe without the constant weight of financial anxiety pressing on her chest. Money didn't fix everything. She knew that now. Blake had had money, lots of it, and he'd been empty inside. Hollow, a shell of a person who needed constant validation, constant excitement, constant proof that he mattered. But money did provide safety, options, the ability to choose. And choice, Claire had learned, was everything. A shadow fell across the stroller. Claire looked up. Vanessa Sterling stood there, 27 now, but looking older. Life had happened to her too. She wore jeans and a sweater, simple, no designer labels, no expensive jewelry. Her hair was shorter, no makeup, just a woman, just a person. Hi, Vanessa said, hesitant, uncertain. I'm sorry I saw you from across the park. I wasn't sure if I should come over, but I couldn't just walk past without saying something. It's okay, Claire said, and surprisingly it was okay. The rage she'd felt 6 months ago had faded, transformed into something else, something quieter. Sit if you want. Vanessa sat on the other end of the bench, left space between them, respectful distance. She looked at Elliot, smiled, genuine. He's beautiful, so much bigger than I remember from the hospital. 6 months, they grow fast. Every day he's different. New skills, new sounds. It's amazing and exhausting. I moved to San Diego, Vanessa said, looked out at the park, at the trees, at anything but Claire. Fresh start, new city, new job, real job this time. One where I actually work. Marketing coordinator for a nonprofit. Domestic violence prevention. Seemed appropriate given everything. That's good work. It is, I like it. I'm good at it. Turns out I have actual skills when I'm not being someone's kept woman. Vanessa's voice held bitterness, self-awareness, regret. I testified at Blake's trial. The prosecution called me, asked me to walk through everything. Every lie he told me, every expense, every moment I should have questioned but didn't. I told them everything. Spent 6 hours on the stand. Blake's lawyer tried to destroy my credibility. Called me a gold digger, a liar, an accomplice. But the evidence backed up everything I said. Credit card statements, hotel records, text messages I'd saved, all of it. I heard, Tom told me, he said your testimony was devastating for Blake's defense. Good. Vanessa finally looked at Claire, eyes red, tired. I know that doesn't fix anything, doesn't undo the hurt, but I'm glad I could help. Glad I could do one thing right in this whole mess. They sat in silence, two women connected by one man's lies, one man's selfish choices, one man's inability to be honest with anyone, including himself. Do you regret it? Claire asked. Not accusatory, just curious, genuinely wanting to know. Vanessa didn't answer right away, thought about it. Gave the question the weight it deserved. Every single day, but not for the reasons you might think. I don't regret losing Blake. He wasn't worth having. I regret who I became, the person who didn't ask questions, who accepted luxury without wondering where it came from, who let myself be bought. That's what I regret, losing myself. I understand that, Claire said quietly. I lost myself too, different way, but same result. I became smaller and smaller until I almost disappeared, made myself convenient, easy, undemanding, because I thought that's what love required. Sacrifice, accommodation, making him comfortable even when I was drowning. When did you find yourself again? Claire looked at Elliot, reached down, adjusted his hat, touched his soft cheek. When I had to, when staying small meant putting him at risk. Motherhood woke something up in me, some fierce protective thing I didn't know I had. I couldn't be small anymore, not when someone else needed me to be big. Vanessa nodded, understood. I'm sorry, she said again. I know I've said it before, but I need you to know I mean it. I was young and stupid, and I believed lies because believing was easier than questioning, because the alternative meant admitting I'd been used, that I'd wasted months of my life on someone who saw me as an accessory. I'm sorry for my part in hurting you, for being part of his deception, even if I didn't know the full truth. I know, Claire said, and she did know. Could hear the genuine remorse, the self-awareness, the growth that came from consequences. Thank you for testifying, for telling the truth even when it was hard, even when his lawyers tried to destroy you. That took courage. Vanessa stood, prepared to leave. I won't bother you anymore. I just wanted to say I'm sorry, and that I'm glad you're okay, that you both are. You deserve good things, Claire. You deserve everything good. She walked away, disappeared into the autumn afternoon. Just another person in the park, another woman trying to figure out her life, another survivor. Claire sat with Elliot as the afternoon faded into evening, thought about Vanessa, about Blake, about all the people who'd been part of this story. Some heroes, some villains, most somewhere in between. All of them human, all of them flawed, odd, all of them trying their best even when their best was terrible. That evening, Naomi came over for dinner. She'd been doing this every Thursday for the past 6 months. Thursday night dinner. Takeout rotating through cuisines. Thai one week, Indian the next, Mexican, Italian, Chinese, whatever they were in the mood for. Tonight was Indian. Naomi arrived with bags from the restaurant near her office. Chicken tikka masala, saag paneer, garlic naan, samosas, mango lassi. Enough food for 4 people even though it was just the 2 of them. They ate while Elliot played on his activity mat, grabbing at dangling toys, making happy sounds. Trying to roll over, almost succeeding. Frustrated when he couldn't quite make it, Claire knew that feeling, had lived that feeling for months. Almost there, but not quite. Almost strong enough, but not quite. Almost free, but not quite. "How's work?" Naomi asked. Speared a piece of paneer. Chewed thoughtfully. "Good, really good actually. Great even." Claire smiled, genuine smile. "We got a major grant approved, $2 million for homeless outreach and transitional housing. We're expanding to 3 new cities, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, all places with serious housing crises. We'll be helping thousands of people over the next 3 years." "That's incredible. You must be so proud." "I am. And guess who I hired as our new LA coordinator?" "Who?" "Maria. Remember Maria from the hospital? The woman I shared a room with?" Naomi's face lit up. "Oh my God, that's perfect. How's she doing?" "Amazing. She's thriving. Permanent housing approved. 2-bedroom apartment in a rent-controlled building in Koreatown. Beautiful place. Safe neighborhood. Good schools for Isabella. She's still working at that law firm you connected her with. Administrative work. But she's taking night classes at community college. Business administration. Says she wants to run her own nonprofit someday. Focus on helping homeless mothers specifically." "She will. Women like Maria don't quit." "Neither do women like us," Claire said. Raised her mango lassi like a toast. Naomi clinked her glass against Claire's. "Damn right." They ate in comfortable silence. The kind of silence that only exists between old friends. Between people who've seen each other at their worst and loved each other anyway. Who've held each other through trauma. Who've shown up again and again when showing up was hard. Elliot fell asleep on his mat. Little body relaxed, arms spread like a starfish. Naomi carried him to his crib. Came back. Settled on the couch with her legs tucked under her. "You ever think about dating?" Naomi asked. Casual tone, but her eyes were serious, concerned, wanting to know. Claire laughed, short, sharp. "God, no, I'm barely managing single parenthood and a full-time job that's really more like 2 full-time jobs. The idea of adding a relationship sounds exhausting. When would I even have time? Between work and Elliot and just trying to keep the apartment clean and grocery shopping and laundry and everything else. There's no room for another person." Fair point, but eventually, someday when things are more settled? Claire considered the question, really thought about it. "Maybe, eventually, when Elliot's older, when I've healed more, when I trust my own judgment again." That's the hard part, Naomi. Blake didn't just break my heart. He broke my ability to trust, to believe people when they tell me things, to take anyone at face value. I question everything now. Everyone, their motives, their words, looking for hidden meanings, hidden agendas. It's exhausting. That's not broken, Claire. That's smart. That's survival. Maybe, but it's also lonely. I can't let anyone new in. Can't risk it. What if I miss the red flags again? What if I choose wrong again? What if I bring someone into Elliot's life and they hurt him? I can't. I just can't. You won't miss the red flags. You know what they look like now. Do I? Because I missed them with Blake for years. All those signs, all those moments that should have told me something was wrong. I ignored them, explained them away, made excuses. What if I do that again? Naomi leaned forward, took Claire's hands, held them tight. You won't, because you're different now. Stronger, more aware, less willing to make yourself small. The woman Blake married would have stayed, would have forgiven, would have tried to make it work. But you're not that woman anymore. You left, you fought, you won. That woman wouldn't have done those things. I had to, for Elliot. Maybe at first, But somewhere along the way, it became for you too. You started fighting for yourself, believing you deserve better. That's growth, Claire. That's transformation. Don't discount it. After Naomi left around 9, Claire did her nightly routine. Checked on Elliot, watched him sleep, counted his breaths like she did every night, made sure he was safe, warm, loved, then shower, pajamas, tea, the same herbal blend she'd been drinking since Elliot was born, chamomile and lavender, calming, grounding. She sat on her bed with her phone, scrolled through messages, found the one from Owen that had come while she was at the park. Hi, Claire. Owen Fletcher here. I hope this isn't weird me texting you directly. I got your number from Tom with his permission. I wanted you to know I've been working with the board to establish a victim compensation fund. For everyone affected by Blake's fraud, investors, employees, and you, especially you, you'll be receiving additional compensation beyond the court-ordered support, significant compensation, $1.7 million. Your lawyers will have all the details next week, but I wanted you to hear it from me first. Wanted you to know that the board recognizes what was done to you, the betrayal, the financial abuse, the cruelty. What Blake did was wrong on every level, criminal level, moral level, human level. The company is trying to make it right, trying to ensure nothing like this ever happens again. I hope this helps. I hope it provides some security, some peace. You and Elliot deserve that. Take care of yourselves. $1.7 million. Claire read the number again, tried to make it feel real, tried to understand what it meant. Financial security, forever. No more worrying about rent, about childcare costs, about what would happen if she lost her job, about Elliot's future. Freedom, that's what it meant. Real freedom, the kind that came with choices, with options, with the ability to build whatever life she wanted. She typed back a response. Thank you, Owen. This is incredibly generous, more than generous. I don't know what to say except thank you for standing up, for doing the right thing, for recognizing harm and trying to repair it. That means everything. His response came quickly. It's not generosity, Claire. It's justice. Inadequate justice, but justice nonetheless. Blake took from you. We're trying to give back. The board voted unanimously. We're all in agreement. You deserve better. You both did. Take care. Justice. That word kept appearing. Everyone talked about justice, but justice looked different to everyone. To Blake, justice would be a lighter sentence, early parole, a second chance to rebuild his reputation. To Vanessa, justice was truth, confession, the chance to start over without lies. To Tom, justice was legal victory, favorable rulings, fair outcomes. To Judge Sinclair, justice was protection, making sure pregnant women weren't abandoned, making sure powerful men faced consequences. To Claire, justice was this: safety, security, the ability to provide for her son, the knowledge that she'd fought and won, that she hadn't stayed small, hadn't accepted less than she deserved, hadn't let Blake destroy her. She thought about Blake in prison, wondered if he thought about them, about what he'd lost, about how different things could have been if he'd made different choices, if he'd valued his family more than his ego, more than his affair, more than the thrill of deception. Probably not. Men like Blake rarely engaged in genuine self-reflection. They blamed their wives for discovering the truth, blamed their mistresses for talking, blamed their business partners for reporting fraud, blamed the system for holding them accountable. Always someone else's fault, never their own. Claire didn't hate him anymore. Hate required too much energy, too much emotional investment, too much caring. She'd moved past hate into something colder, more final, something that felt almost like peace, indifference from. Blake wasn't part of her story anymore. He was a chapter, a difficult, painful, necessary chapter, but finished, done. The book had moved on to better chapters, happier chapters, chapters where she was the protagonist instead of the supporting character. Her phone buzzed again. Maria this time. Mija, just got home from my first day of classes. Business accounting. Professor seems tough but fair. Lots of homework already, but I'm excited. How are you and Elliot? Claire smiled, typed back. We're good. Elliot's sleeping. I'm having tea and thinking about how far we've both come. Proud of you for starting school. You're going to be amazing. We're both going to be amazing. Hey, Isabella and I are coming over Saturday. I'm bringing food. Real Mexican food from my cousin's restaurant. We're celebrating. Your divorce being final, my first week of classes, us surviving. See you at noon. Saturday. Celebration. Yes, that sounded perfect. Claire set her phone aside, walked to the window, looked out at the city lights. Los Angeles stretched endlessly. Millions of people, millions of stories, some happy, some tragic, most somewhere in between. All of them human, all of them trying. She thought about where she'd been 6 months ago, in a shared hospital room, terrified, betrayed, uncertain about everything. She'd felt so small then, so powerless, so convinced that Blake held all the cards, all the money, all the control, but she'd been wrong. She'd had power all along. The power to leave, to fight, to demand better, to refuse to accept crumbs when she deserved a feast. The prison door had been unlocked. She'd been her own warden. The key had been in her pocket the whole time. She'd just been too conditioned to use it, too scared of what existed beyond those walls. Now she knew. Beyond those walls was life. Real life. Full life. Messy and difficult and exhausting and beautiful life. Life where she made the rules. Where she chose who got access to her and Elliot. Where she built something real instead of maintaining something fake. At 3 a.m., Elliot woke crying. Teething, again. Fourth tooth coming in, and he was miserable. Claire went to him, picked him up, held him against her chest, felt his little body relax slightly, still fussy but comforted by her presence. She sat in the rocking chair, the one Naomi had found at an estate sale. Solid wood, beautiful craftsmanship, worn smooth by generations of mothers rocking generations of babies. Claire felt connected to all of them, all those women who'd sat in this chair, who'd comforted crying babies at 3 a.m., who'd felt exhausted and overwhelmed and desperately in love all at once. You know what I learned, baby boy? Claire whispered. Rock slowly, back and forth. People will tell you that suffering makes you stronger, that trauma builds character, that what doesn't kill you makes you better. That's garbage. You know what makes you stronger? Choosing to survive, choosing to fight, choosing yourself even when everyone says you should choose him, even when society says marriage is sacred and divorce is failure, even when your mother-in-law says you're being dramatic, even when his lawyer calls you vindictive, choosing yourself anyway. That's strength. She looked out the nursery window. The city was quieter at this hour, peaceful, almost serene, just streetlights and occasional cars, people sleeping, dreaming, living their lives. Your father thought money made him powerful, Claire continued. Elliot's crying had stopped. He was listening now, eyes half closed but focused on her face. But here's what he never understood. Real power isn't money. Money helps. Money provides security and options and comfort. But real power is knowing your worth isn't negotiable. Knowing you deserve basic respect and honesty and kindness. Real power is walking away from anyone who treats you like you're less than, who makes you small, who asks you to disappear so they can shine brighter. Elliot's eyes closed fully now, breathing evening out, almost asleep. Real power is building a life so good, so full, so completely yours, that losing anything else doesn't matter, Claire whispered. That's what I've learned. That's what I'll teach you. When you're older, when you start choosing friends, partners, people to let into your life, I'll teach you to choose people who add to you instead of subtracting from you, who make you bigger instead of smaller, who celebrate you instead of competing with you. She stood, carefully, slowly, walked to the crib, laid Elliot down. He stirred slightly, settled, grabbed his little stuffed elephant, the one Maria had given him, held it close. I won't lie to you, Claire whispered, one hand on his back, feeling him breathe. Single motherhood is hard. Some days I'm exhausted, some days I'm scared. Some days I look at the stack of bills and the endless to-do list and the laundry that never ends, and I want to cry. Some days I do cry, usually in the shower where you can't hear me. But every single day, I'm free, and that's worth everything I lost, everything I'll never have, every fairy tale ending I thought I wanted, because I have something better. I have myself back. I have you. I have a life that's mine. She walked back to her room, climbed into bed. The sheets were cool, the pillow soft. The bed was empty but not lonely. She'd learned the difference. Loneliness was feeling alone even when someone was there. What she had now was solitude, chosen, peaceful, full of possibility instead of full of dread. As sleep finally came, Claire's last conscious thought was this. The woman in the shared hospital bed felt like someone from another life now, someone she barely recognized. That woman had been afraid, uncertain, apologetic for existing, for needing things, for taking up space, for asking questions, for wanting basic honesty from her husband. This woman, the one lying in her own apartment that she could actually afford now, with her son sleeping safely in the next room, with a job she loved and friends who showed up in a future that belonged only to her, this woman wasn't afraid anymore. She was free, and freedom, Claire had learned, wasn't the absence of constraints. It wasn't having no responsibilities or obligations. It was the presence of choice, the ability to choose herself, to choose her son, to choose truth over comfortable lies, to choose a difficult real life over an easy fake one. Blake had tried to take that from her, had tried to make her small, dependent, grateful for scraps, convinced that she couldn't survive without him, without his money, without his presence. He'd failed. She'd won. Not because she'd destroyed him, though the legal system had done that effectively. Not because she'd gotten revenge, though the compensation and custody ruling were certainly satisfying. She'd won something bigger, more important, more lasting. She'd won herself back, and that was the only victory that truly mattered. The prison door had been unlocked all along. She'd been her own warden, but the key had always been in her pocket. She'd just been too conditioned to stay, too uncertain of what existed beyond those walls, too convinced that the known misery was safer than the unknown freedom. Now she knew better. Beyond those walls was life, real, full, messy, beautiful, exhausting, joyful life. And she was finally ready to live it, on her own terms, by her own rules, for herself and for Elliot. Free. So that's Claire's story. From a shared hospital bed to complete freedom, from betrayal to transformation, from victim to survivor. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever felt it small, ever questioned your worth, ever wondered if you were strong enough to start over, you're not alone. Claire's story is one woman's journey, but it echoes the experiences of so many. If you found value in this story, hit that like button. It helps other people who need to hear this message find it. Drop a comment below. I'd love to know what part of Claire's journey spoke to you most. Was it the courtroom moment? The mistress's confession? That final realization about freedom? Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who's struggling, someone who's questioning, someone who needs to know they're stronger than they think. And if you want more stories like this, real, raw, emotional journeys about people finding their strength, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Because everyone deserves to know they're not alone. Everyone deserves to know they're strong enough. Thank you for listening to Claire's story. Take care of yourselves. And remember, the prison door might be unlocked. The key might be in your pocket. You just have to be brave enough to use it. See you in the next story.